very warm welcome to the Honorable Finance Minister to the Embassy of Pakistan. We are honored to have his visit to Washington DC, and we're aware that he has been there and for some very important meetings with the US administration and also with the World Bank and the IMF. We are extremely sorry that we have not been able to give any rest to the Honorable Minister, and in the last 3 days or so that he has been here, we have kept him engaged from morning till late evening. As a matter of fact, as we are talking, he has another meeting lined up in another about 20 minutes, and for which he may have to rush it a little bit, but with the remarks I would like to.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Grateful to all of you that on weekend and Sunday you have joined us. We have been here for last 4 days, but obviously we have been very busy. Few friends at certain forums had expressed the thought of we meeting, but believe me, as the ambassador has explained, we've been busy till late nights. We had 43 meetings in 4 days, so we still have a couple of more to go before I leave for the airport in the evening. As you know, that our trip was for 3 different reasons. One was to bring back Pakistan after 7 years on the international bond market. So we had one East team and one West team. East team was headed by Secretary Finance. The West team was headed by me. So we converged in New York on Monday. That was almost 1 week road shows, Middle East, Europe, and then New York and Boston, Los Angeles. So that was the first purpose of this tour. The second reason for us to travel was the bilateral economic dialogue of the Economic Working Group with the US. This is usually part of the strategic dialogue for which advisor on foreign affairs to Prime Minister Sartaj Saab and Defense Minister actually came a few weeks earlier in order to economize the time and expense. I decided to merge with the spring meeting. So actually we had also clubbed that agenda also in consultation with the US administration that we will hold the Economic Working Group meeting at the time of annual spring meeting, the World Bank IMF, which is almost obligatory for all members to attend, whether you are borrowing or you are donating. All members of the IMF World Bank twice a year meet. Obviously, it's a very useful interaction always, because you have an opportunity to meet different other countries' colleagues and have a very wider global interaction on behalf of your country. So these 3 things actually made a trip to begin almost 2 weeks ago. We finished our first event on Tuesday in New York. Thanks God, the response was tremendous. On road shows, when we started, obviously we were not sure. The indicative size for us was $500 million, because that's the minimum which is called index size in order for you to get listed on the German stock exchange. So we are dedicated, because that obviously is the minimum requirement of good investor, that you must have a minimum size. So you see different parts of the globe, very interesting questions were raised. Many people expressed happiness about a very quick turnaround of the Pakistan economy. But obviously all was to be seen at the end when they make a real offer. Sometimes you are more diplomatic or more polite to say a few good words, but then it comes, the real test comes when you have the final offer after the closing of the the road shows. So those road shows ended, as I said, Monday night, and the books of bond was open till almost 9 o'clock US time on Tuesday. So we were really thrilled to see, alhamdulillah, that the response was tremendous, 14 times, almost $7 billion US were offered to Pakistan by the international bond markets. We came back after 7 years, and even the bankers to the issue, which are Deutsche, Citi, Bank of America, Barclays, and Merrill Lynch, they themselves were quite surprised and excited to see the confidence which the world international bond markets have displayed in Pakistan. So, after consultation in-house with the Prime Minister and keeping in view the huge demand, obviously it would have been inappropriate to only go for 500 million. That would have meant almost 11% average allocation to those who had applied to offer to take $7 billion US from Pakistan bond. So, keeping in view all different factors in mind, we had the plan. This was just the first road show. I think if you intend to attract the foreign direct investment, which is the ultimate goal of our government, that we need to promote trade and investment and not aid. So that is what actually, your presence in the international market is absolutely essential. Otherwise, the international investor whose interest in any country which is not present in the international market. So, with Allah's kindness, we had extremely good response, and we decided to take 2 billion bonds, half and half for 5 years and for 10 years. You may recall that there were 2011 roadshow by the previous government, and people had to return halfway through to Pakistan because of the very lukewarm response to the team, and they had no choice but to cancel it. They didn't want, obviously, to offer and then get embarrassed. So, if you recall 2011, but with Allah's kindness and the prayers of everybody here and in Pakistan, I think we had seen huge success and huge confidence of the international community, financial community in Pakistan. So this is a good sign, and it will certainly now encourage more about the attraction of the foreign direct investment to Pakistan. You might have seen recent survey, a report of JETRO, which is Japanese based, very high rated, and they have now talked about Pakistan is likely to be second choicest place for the foreign direct investment. This is very encouraging news for Pakistan, that if we keep up with the reform agenda, the structural reform, the stabilization measures which our government has taken. Initially, it actually even resulted into some political price to be paid in terms of popularity, but all those inactions left unimplemented by the previous government, despite the international commitments. Those were clear, but alhamdulillah, now things have moved both within and outside country very positive. The second, obviously, item was to hold the bilateral meetings with the US counterparts on economic working group, and those meetings were held, with the Treasury people, with State Department people, with USAID, with OPEC, with USTR, and with other stakeholders, including the Deputy National Security Advisor. So those meetings went very well, very positive. They have expressed a lot of goodwill and positive sentiments about country's economy, the way it's showing good positive signs. And we had detailed discussion with all the our bilateral colleagues. And to cut it short, I can share it with you that next round will be TIFA, which was postponed. The Commerce Minister will be here, middle of May, and inshallah, TIFA will take the further progress, inshallah next month with bilateral understanding. The World Bank and IMF meetings also went very well. We have met all the key people in the World Bank. We had meeting with the World Bank president, their managing director, their vice president, their entire team, and you would be happy to know that after 5 years, Pakistan would be back on World Bank board on 1st of May. Now, this is something good news for Pakistan. This is regarding IDA 16, which is expiring on 30th of June 2014. I'm sure most of you know that if Pakistan could not get its due share, which is calculated based on the SDRs, this is a concessionary finance, 25 years, 5 years moratorium, very cheap in cost of funds, then the next deserving country would have been given. It would have left for Pakistan. It is not rollover. So IDA cycle is 3-year cycle, which closes on 30th of June 2014. So as you know, the first 2 years, there was nothing, no efforts, because the international institutions were not ready to work with Pakistan. So as soon as we presented budget, we did IMF program, there were 2 reviews already, so we engaged World Bank also. And you'll be happy to learn that the board meeting would be on 1st of May, which they have declared Pakistan Day. So the Dunia World Labour Day manali hogi, the World Bank will be celebrating Pakistan Day. We'll be back on World Bank board for this IDA 16 share of credit, which Pakistan entitled $1 billion, inshallah, on 1st of May. And we see all, consultations, all, legal discussions and, two-way, detailed review of everything has been finalized. And the Operations Committee of World Bank has already approved it. The agenda has been circulated. So, God willing, inshallah, 1st of May, Pakistan will be able to access these 2 programs of $1 billion. The quite famous project, DASU, and Sindh water irrigation system project, which has been pending for quite some time. Both will, inshallah, be coming in the next board meeting of the World Bank towards end of May. It will be last week of May sometime. And again, it has been agreed that both projects would entitle Pakistan to access around $700 million of the project assistance from the World Bank under IDA 16 program. So that will make Pakistan to access what was Pakistan's huge share of this concessionary loan as a member of these World Bank group. So that is again a very positive news for Pakistan. With the World Bank people, since there will be new cycle now from 1st of July, and we have discussed the new country partnership strategy with the World Bank. There has been detailed discussions back home. Discussions have been over the last many weeks. They have been very useful. And on 1st of May, the new country partnership strategy will be presented in the board, which has been mutually agreed. The entire future business with World Bank will revolve around 4 E's of Pakistan's own agenda, which is the basis of our manifesto, which was the core document on the basis of which we contested election in Pakistan. And those 4 E's are well known: economy, energy, education, and extremism. So as you know that our party has been focusing on all the 4 E's with equal priority. Certain E's would give quick results. These institutions say unbelievable in short time, but thanks God things are shaping up in Pakistan. So our future engagement with World Bank Group has been agreed to revolve, instead of a small and diversified dozens of different programs, it will be revolving around Pakistan's own homegrown agenda of our PML party under leadership of Mia Nawaz Sharif, the Prime Minister, around 4 years. The size of program for next 5 years with World Bank Group would be around anything between $10.5 to $11 billion. So that has again in principle been agreed. Excuse me. With IMF, we had very useful meetings. Our own team was very satisfied. The team which is is with me and was traveled both for World Bank, both for road shows, bond road shows, as well as bilateral meetings. Locally, we are joined by the Honorable Ambassador and his team, Economic Minister, Trade Ministers, and obviously our two great nominees on the World Bank and IMF, as Khosa Saab, alternate Executive Director of World Bank, and Tasneem Sethi Saab on the IMF. So we as a team had very good meetings with IMF. They are all appreciative again of the outcome Pakistan has shown. 2 reviews have already been completed. We have invited them for the 3rd review, which is 31st of March quarter. We are ready for dialogue. And the dates have been tentatively agreed as 30th of April to 9th of May. The review will take place, it takes around 10 days. So the review dates have been tentatively agreed, and inshallah, God willing, we're very positive and sure that the review will be a successful review. Good news are that the direction of economy, particularly the growth and the inflation, had been agreed by the World Bank and the IMF, that the growth of Pakistan is going to be better than they projected, and we say that it will be inshallah on target, which is 4 plus, and the inflation, they both now agree would be and is on the falling trend, and we still maintain inshallah, God willing, it will be in single digit around 8.5%. So this is a very positive sign that on directions we have converged, both the World Bank, IMF and Pakistan government. We had announced these targets not now but 12th of June when I prepared and when I presented the budget to the nation through Parliament. So if you recall, there were 3-year macroeconomic stability program, what we inherited, what we intend to do, what reforms we would introduce, and where we would inshallah land in 3 years period. Few things I have accelerated in this process. For example, the forex reserves. We had committed that we have a goal to build reserves from June 2013 to June 16 from 8 billion, less than 8 billion to 20 billion. But obviously 3 years is a long period. We as a nation have sometimes less patience to wait for the results. So I have accelerated that program, goal. If you recall, I had given short-term and medium-term goal also out of 20 billion. And that is 10 billion was 31st of March, and thanks God we were able to achieve the goal. And also we gave that the end of this calendar year, which would mean 1.5 years from our government taking oath, we would give 15 to 16 billion. So I think once I go back, I'm going to review my numbers, and we might further advance this time goal. But let's see. Let me go back and do the certain sums, and I hope inshallah we would give even better news. But the previously announced goal of 31st March already achieved, and previously announced goal of medium term to end of this year, 31st of December 2014, inshallah, we are very well positioned. God willing, we will be able to deliver. The stock market is doing quite well. Since 11th of May, when we won the election, stock market has become one of the best performers in the emerging markets. As you know, that its index has gone over 40%. Its market capitalization in rupee terms has gone almost 40% up, and in terms of dollars, it has gone something like 35%, which is a huge growth in 12 months. In any less than 12 months in any emerging markets of the world. On the forex market, the things have been volatile initially. We all know that the rupee dollar parity touched almost 111 twice, once in September and then thereafter. But thanks God, the forex market has now become stable. It is trading under 100 rupees. The dollar to rupee actually has given rupee strength, and if rupee has appreciated, I do have sympathy with those of you I'm sure all sitting here must be getting salaries in dollars. You would be losing 10%, but your country has gained huge. Your public debt has gone down almost 7 billion US dollars, 700 billion rupees. So this currency rate was certainly speculative. We were hostage in the hands of certain people who wanted dollarization of the economy, who are withholding their export proceeds, who are just now speculating. It's nothing different for me. It is the second time. I had faced same thing in 1998 when I became finance minister, post nuclear detonation and world sanctions on Pakistan. God was very kind at that time. It was called miracle that it came down from 69 to 52, and people say now it's again miracle. The economics, I won't say economics they say, but as the economics has worked of Pakistan as a unique thing, so we should all thank Allah. As I said, I do have sympathy and all the best wishes to all of you. I'm sure you are all paid in dollars and you'll be getting, but let me show you. I'm sure most of the money you'll be sending to your dear and near ones. It will reduce inflation. 14 industries have already announced as a consequence of stability in the foreign market and the rupee appreciation, reduction in their prices from 5 to 8%, number one. And that includes Indus Motors, by the way. Those of you who go and wish to buy a Toyota, you'll get now 58,000 be cheap. So we are monitoring the essential commodities. It does actually happen to be our core agenda that we make sure that inflation does not go in double digit. So the inflation is around 8% last month, and we anticipate to close this year around 8.5%, what we projected originally. So with different prices, I jokingly say that potatoes, onions, or other essential kitchen commodities, and I include dollar with it because it has become so dear and near to our people that they treat it as a very essential commodity, all have come down almost same level when we came in power on 5th of June, and Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif took oath and we took oath on 7th. So it's a good sign for any economy because it will give stability. Why a foreign direct investor should come to Pakistan, even if he believes that he will get 17% return, but at the same time he will lose 14% of its value in currency. The net return for 3%, nobody will come to Pakistan. Our goal is your other neighboring countries, I know you all know, the big economies have actually emerged out of foreign direct investment. So we are actually focusing to promote and to create an environment whereby economic stability is there, whereby exchange rate is stabilized, whereby stock market performed well, where the investors has peace of mind that they won't be hit by any unexpected fall in currency. So I think all things are very important for the foreign direct investment. And as I said, JETRO has done a good thing. Recently, the Overseas Investor Chamber of Commerce Industry, of which all multinationals are members, Pakistan was rated by them 12 months ago that Pakistan has -34 index on the business confidence. Today they are talking +2. Now this is a very, very positive sign. Second sign. The third one is, I'm sure most of you read here Wall Street Journal, and a couple of months back they had a very good article that despite security concerns, investors are looking towards Pakistan, and this is the reality that we have huge interest from within and outside Pakistan now. People, our exporters are queued up in Pakistan. Your television channels are already showing that people are now selling dollars. Those who just wanted that whatever saving they had, small investor, it was virtually converting the economy to dollarization. So, and based on speculation and few articles which were just leading people to believe that the rupee is the free fall. No, it's not the case, and as I said, it's not first time. I did caution in December, a large business gathering in Lahore, that take me serious and better sell your dollars. Those who heard and listened and believed, I think they were better off. Those who didn't, they had to pay a price. It only took 3 months from that speech that things had come around better. So the last positive news, I'm sure many of you might have already read, the famous economist O'Neill. He has now from BRIC he has now come up with the term MINT, Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, Turkey, the future growing economy. In the same report, he has now predicted that Pakistan by 2050 would be from 44th world economy now to will be 18th world economy. Whereas I wish and I'm happy to have this good future projection. Obviously, it's based on the way countries moving in the last 12 months, less than 12 months, and they are now very confident that if the speed of recovery, the direction remains the same, then this country has the potential, and always believe country has potential. So I'm happy with this 18th or better, inshallah, but I'm not happy with the timeline he's given us. The 2050 is too long away. I think we all have to work hard, and you as media have to support us, support everything good which is good for the country. I think we must be seen as one voice. There's sometimes some negative voices come on economy or on energy or on national agenda, security. I think everybody has a right to say whatever, but we must keep our national interest in mind, because sometimes people overseas get confused. And why I'm saying this, I'm talking in the last 2 weeks travel experience. Many things we had to explain, and then people were amazed that somebody just said something which is actually against total reality or ground fact. So we are always thankful to the media friends, and you've always been great support. I have been seeing and watching the reports you friends have been sending to Pakistan, and they've been very positive. So thanks for your support during your stay here, and I wish you all the best. I will be happy to answer any questions. As Ambassador Sahab said, we had certain overrun in earlier 2 meetings. We had the development, the future IDA 17 development meeting, and they have put me on a panel, speakers panel today with UK Secretary of State Justin Green, World Bank President himself. I was the third one, then Indonesia, Rwanda, Liberia. We have 6 members of the panel, and so I'm doing some international job also to give my views how to reduce the world poverty, which is unfortunately 40% of the world population is living below poverty line now, 2.5 billion people. When I used to say to you here and in Pakistan and Senate as leader of the opposition that dollar a day is not the right definition. Purchasing power is not even in US for the same dollar, which was a decade before. Now I'm glad that my voice has earned attention, if not within outside. It's not $2 a definition. But $2 a day, people living below $2 a day, today is 2.5 billion worldwide. So I think the international theme and agenda to reduce extreme poverty and to have shared prosperity, I think this is also our agenda. And you have seen, whereas we had massive cuts in the non-development expenditure in Pakistan in our last budget, we had increased in 2 areas. One was the development expenditure, increased by 30%, and the other one is social safety net. We actually deal with the vulnerable and the poorest of the poor. So we had increased their allocation by 87.5% in last budget, from 40 billion to 75 billion. The cash take home was from 30 billion to 55 billion. So this has been acknowledged and appreciated everywhere during our visit. That was a great thing Pakistan did. We are reaching out to 1 million more families. The income support fund is purely non-partisan. It is basically no matter who is the recipient, as long as they qualify on the scorecard they'll get it. So with these words, I thank all of you for being here with me this afternoon. और आपके कुछ सवाल हो तो हम